Good evening, Cheeseheads. This is the Cheese Room Live. Welcome to a special that I guess half of which we weren't talking about and half of which we're glad we are. Mourinho out, but also the Super League on the table. So we're going to try and cover as much of this as possible tonight. And what 24 hours it's been. Now we've had time to think about it all, reflect on it all and digest it. We've managed to get an elite lineup this evening. Joining me all the way from Stoke. How you doing, Seb? You good?
I'm good, yeah. Just about recovering from, like you say, it's been a pretty crazy 24 hours. I was listening to Talk Sport. I hate to say that, but I was listening to Talk Sport this morning about the European Super League. And then my shopping from Sainsbury's arrived at the door. And by the time I'd got the shopping
where?
by the time I got my shopping in, they were talking about Mourinho. I thought, what on earth's going on here? Completely missed the headline. And then played catch up and just what a crazy day.
Yeah. HG, how you doing, mate? It feels like this is deja vu.
Deja vu too. Yes, I'm all right, but I'm still getting my head around a lot of it and trying to figure out a way to make sure this doesn't happen. It's and Mourinho has gone. Yes.
Brendan, what I would say is it's good to have you on. Tell us what you're drinking and if you're sober.
It's water. Yes, I'm sober. Yeah, and thanks for waking me up this morning at 6 a.m. I got a text from a caller at like 6, half 5, 6. It's like, Bren, you're really quiet. And I'm like, I'm quiet because it's 6 a.m.
Yeah, but tell them what you told me. Tell me what was the other reason?
What was the other reason?
You were nursing a Sunday hangover.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just normal. No, yeah. Big news, big day. Guess we're happy with the decision.
Which one?
Which news was to cover the other one?
We'll get to that. So, firstly, this is a live broadcast on YouTube. Please do put your questions in the box. Get them in now. We'll try and get to as many as possible during the broadcast. Depends how popular we are. Depends how many we'll get to. So, do try and get them in early, and I'll get the lovely podcasters to respond to your questions. Before we get started, I just want to know a couple of things from each of you and try and keep it concise if that's in your dictionary, podders. How are we feeling, firstly, about Spurs in general and about Jose being sacked? HG?
I'm because to happen. He didn't deserve to be on longer than the rest of the season. I'm a bit surprised. Just 6 days before a cup final, but he was never going to stay as far as I was concerned, and so I'm happy that it's done. At least we now know that we're in a different direction, hopefully a better one, but still because we weren't going Jose.
Okay. So you're cutting out a little bit there, HG. So you might have to join and come back if you want to. While I'm going around the others. Seb, how are you feeling about Spurs? How are you feeling about Jose? Are you still coming down from the crazy day that was yesterday?
A little bit, yeah. It's kind of a love-hate thing with Levy because he makes business decisions, and that's what he's done twice today, or in the last 24 hours. One I absolutely loathe, and one I'm more than happy with. As HG said, it's a little bit of a surprise. It's come 6 days before a cup final, but I've no doubt that that's a business decision as well. Saving himself money, should we have won that cup final, I would imagine the payoff to Jose would have been a lot more than what it currently stood at today. So that's what that's what I'm contending with. Everything is a business decision.
Do you think that's really true? That there might be a payoff associated with League Cup final? Because that seems slightly crazy, doesn't it?
No, he would definitely be in for a reward for winning a trophy.
What? So we'll throw the trophy?
No, we're not throwing the trophy, are we? I mean, as I said in an earlier pod, I think we've got a better chance of winning on Sunday than we did yesterday. So he's not throwing the trophy, but but look, it comes down to the same thing. I'm sure we'll debate this in due course. What's more important to Levy, money or trophies? Probably is money. So there you go.
Okay. Bren, how are you feeling about Spurs and Levy? What are you thinking? Well, Levy Mourinho, I should say. What are you thinking?
The Mourinho decision I'm happy with. I think that the timing is a bit strange. Maybe something has happened in the background. Maybe he was talking to Nagelsmann and Jose got wind of that, wasn't happy. Something happened because the timing just doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But on the flip side of that, I agree. We probably got a better. I'm actually looking forward to the final now. I wasn't yesterday. I'm thinking the shackles will be off. The players will have a bit more freedom. They won't play with this fear dripping over them from that snarling Portuguese looking from the touchline. We probably have a better chance now to do it. Have I frozen there?
No, you're fine. With Ryan Mason in charge? Are you for real?
I'm not better than with Mourinho. The players weren't playing for him. The players had given up. So and then we're going to get a bit of a bounce. We'll see how the rest of the season pans out. But you'd like to think that the players would stop playing for Mourinho. That they, now that he's gone, may turn up for once. We may have some kind of forward-thinking plan to make up for our deficiencies in defence. So I'm actually looking forward to the final now.
Okay. So a few bits and bobs. Seb, are you surprised that Jose's gone right now? I mean, you touched on it before. You think it's a business decision. Are you not surprised at all in the fact that we've dismissed him right before a cup final, 6 days?
Well, no, I think we've covered that. I think I think it's a business decision. I'll say it again. You know, I don't think we would have won the cup final. I still think it's going to be very hard. But I would bet on it that there would be a significant amount owed to Jose for any trophy win. And also, I'm not sure Levy really wants that in Spurs history, really, that they won a trophy with Jose Mourinho at the helm. We all know this season.
Come on, he wants any trophy, surely. After about how many years is it? 99 since we won a cup. I mean, 2003 or whatever. You know.
But the other side of it is that had we won the trophy, would Jose have got sacked anyway? So
yes.
What difference does it make exactly? So why don't we sack him now rather than at the end of the season? It doesn't really make a lot of difference, does it?
Well, I mean, I don't really understand the timing, HG. Do you think there's something? Do you think there's something not right about the timing? Do you think this has anything to do with the European Super League, I should say?
Yes, if I'm honest. Can you imagine if we did another hour based on just the league and the issues, and here we are talking about Mourinho and Levy and the cup final. So like I just played some part of it, of course. It's a weird time to bury good news, but yeah, I can't look at it and think that they didn't specifically wait for the blowback from the initial announcement for the Super League, and then thought, right, we'll do this now to get people talking about something else. And I think they hoped that it would take Spurs fans' minds off the Super League and make them think, okay, well, that was bad, but this is good, so let's focus on the good. As far as I'm concerned, it's ruined the good, because I can't get over the fact that the Super League is happening and I'm deadly against it. So the fact that Mourinho's gone, yay, but we're still the bad guys. It hasn't changed. Like it's that famous Michelin Webb thing, right, where he's like dressed in the Nazi uniform going, wait, are we the bad guys? That's it. Spurs are the bad guys right now. The whole Super League thing is awful, and we are part of it, and it's an awful thing.
I'd just like to lighten the mood by saying, Psychara says, have we got drunk Brendan tonight? I'm sorry, we haven't, but, I'm on my third gin, if that counts. Monday, hang on, it was Sunday yesterday. That's a religious day, and you were shit-faced.
Exactly, that's why you get shit-faced.
Unbelievable. Do you think, Brent, that we've got someone lined up to take over imminently? Do you think that's likely? Do you think it's likely that we'll get to the cup final without anyone in charge?
I don't think he'd have made the decision if he didn't have someone lined up. I think we've got one of our ITKs that says it is Nagelsmann. So we'll see if that's the case. But yeah, Levy, like Seb was saying, he's a businessman. He makes business decisions. He would not. He wouldn't take a risk. He's not taking a calculated risk. He would be thinking about the business, how best to protect his asset. He can see that top four is slipping away. I'll have to try and change something because maybe we might get there still, or we might have a chance of winning this cup. So he would not have made the decision if he didn't have someone lined up in the back channels. And my suspicion is that's why there was the fallout today. There must have been that he got wind of some conversations going on in back channels. His agent maybe found out or something, and Jose went to Levy and said, look, are you talking to other managers? Didn't like it, and then he's gone. So it's the right decision. The timing is just really strange, but I'm glad.
Convenient timing, Brendan, would you say?
Convenient in terms of
taking the attention of the way that we've turned into a giant shit.
The Super League thing is kind of like I'm glad we're in it, because why if we weren't? That would be worse, surely.
Whoa!
What?
Whoa! We'll come to this.
We don't want to get left behind.
We will come to this because I can see HG snarling, ready to take you down. So we will absolutely get to this during the pod. But before that, I want to cover off Mourinho. So if anyone's watching, focus right now is Mourinho. Direct your questions about him. So the favourites to replace him, I'm reliably informed by a very well prepared run sheet. You know what one of those is, Brendan. You know how much respect I have for these. Julian Nagelsmann, as you mentioned already, Bren. Seb, do you think that Nagelsmann is going to come to Tottenham?
No.
He is 3-1 now. 3-1 is the latest odds I've heard. Which has shortened from 8-1 yesterday. So that clearly someone thinks he is.
He's shortened. He's only shortened because Mourinho's now got the sack. So that's the only reason.
No, that was immediately after Mourinho got the sack. Actually, he was 8-1.
Okay, I don't think he'll come. There's two reasons. First, I think Bayern Munich want him, and secondly, alluding to HG's "Are we the bad guys?" analogy. Compared to Bayern Munich right now, yes, we definitely are. You know, which manager is going to come when there's a chance at the moment that we might not be a Premier League team next year? I can't see it, because that is a distinct
Tim Sherwood.
Well, yeah, that we will be scraping Tim Sherwood, Eddie Howe type barrels. I would imagine, because. Who's
I'm sorry,
going to come?
I don't agree, Seb.
Do you? Tomorrow, 14 Premier League teams are meeting without the other 6. Okay, there will be conversations that take place about excluding those teams, docking points off those teams, fining those teams, all that thing. So, which manager? Or sorry, not which manager. If you're Nagelsmann, are you going to go to the current European champions, or are you going to come to a team that has pretty much pissed off the entire population?
I think it's a complex. I mean, if you're asking me, I think it's a complex discussion piece, because you could very well phrase it slightly differently and say to Nagelsmann, "Come to us. You're guaranteed European football in the Super League, yeah." Or go to Bayern, who don't want to be a part of this for whatever reason. They're going to miss out big time and regress. So I think there's
hang on.
Go on, HG. I am coming to you next, but go on. I know you want to.
I don't think Bayern will miss out. Bayern are in it every year anyway. So if this 20-team Super League starts off and they don't have 15 founding members, but they only have the 12 that have signed up now, well, that's great news for Spurs, because that means more money for a founding member, and Bayern would probably qualify for it every season anyway. So Bayern can kind of have their cake and eat it a little bit and be like, well, we didn't do the dits on everyone, but we're still in it and we still get the money. Look, I think that I do think that Spurs being in this has probably made us more attractive to someone like Nagelsmann. I don't know if I would leave the stability of Leipzig when they're second in the league. They're going to qualify for whatever European tournament there is next year. They're second in the league. He's got a pretty good gig going on. going to Spurs, is it going to enhance his reputation? I don't think so. I mean, possibly we could be so bad that if it doesn't work out, you could just say, well, that was Spurs' fault rather than yours. But I do think that it's probably enhanced the chances we have of getting him. I don't want him. I've never wanted him. But
I know you don't.
I think it's more likely now. I do think it's more likely now. But it would surprise me.
Part of that thought, we'll come back to Nagelsmann. 9-2, Brendan Rodgers, HG.
Oh, Brendan Rodgers?
9-2.
9-2. Well, bookies don't lose money, do they? It's again, like Brendan Rodgers got Leicester to a cup final. That's a pretty good achievement. No.
Do you want Brendan Rodgers, Brendan McGurty?
No, I think there are better options out there. They're starting to drop off like they did last season. He's got the experience.
Well, they've got half the team injured. Let's be fair about it.
I think it's just Ndidi at the moment. I think Ndidi's back now, and Vardy's back now. So I think
Barnes?
It's just Maddison and Barnes as well. Fair enough, but I'd still.
Gloss over that.
It depends. I still think it will be Nagelsmann. I genuinely think
it's
that
going
was
to be
what...
Nagelsmann. Okay, Seb.
It's going to be a lot of money, right? Like if Nagelsmann comes, Levy's going to pay him an awful lot of money, and I have a feeling that might be the reason Nagelsmann takes it. Simply for money, because if it's between Bayern and Spurs, you pick Bayern.
Well, that was the only reason Mourinho took it, wasn't it? Because it was 30 million quid.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Seb, Eddie Howe 5-1. Do you want to have your sound in?
I like how you've done this and you've gone to each person that you know who's going to stick two fingers up.
Of course I have. Yeah.
No. Look, I can cross more off your list. I'm sorry if I'm ruining your run sheet, but Eddie Howe, no. Steven Gerrard, no. Nuno Espirito Santo, no. Graham Potter, no.
Rafa Benitez is at 8-1.
That one I'm a bit more torn on because Rafa knows how to organise a team. However you look at it, he's won trophies and he's organised existing teams, and that is, I think. Look, taking the European Super League and any money that might come from that out of it. What our next manager needs to do is to get the current squad of players. Well, I say that the top 15 to 18 players that we have in that squad playing. Yeah, he needs to get Dele Alli playing. He needs to get Bergwijn playing. All players that have massively underperformed. I read today about how Doherty he has no confidence. That is the issue. He's had everything sucked out of him by Mourinho's tactics, Mourinho's jostling and poking of individuals. And the next manager needs to come in and work with the majority of what he's got and sell off some that I think everyone can see are dead wood.
Is Danny Rose going to make a comeback, do you think, Seb?
No. Definitely not. Why are you picking the names that you know will wipe up? I told you I'm not feeling very well.
It makes great TV. Okay. So we're going to go to some comments.
Quick one. Where's Conte on the list, on the odds? Antonio Conte.
Well, I thought Conte as well, but Conte
is about to win the league with Inter Milan. I don't even see him leaving.
Not even on the list. So there's to go down it, Brendan, for your benefit. Nagelsmann 3-1, Rodgers 9-2, Howe 5-1. How that works, I don't know. Rafa Benitez 8-1. Nuno Espirito Santo. Well, we've just sacked a Nuno Espirito. I know you're getting an Esperanto. 9-1. Jurgen the German Klinsmann 10-1. Scott Parker 12-1. It would be interesting to see if he stood on the touchline and turned in lots of little circles while we were playing football. Ryan Mason 16-1. I mean, once you get past Ryan Mason at 16-1, you know you're struggling. Maurizio Sarri 16-1. Aguilar 16-1. Southgate 20-1. I mean, Christ Almighty, we don't want that, do we? Who prepared this run sheet? This is just I can't imagine, Mr. Parker. Right, so let's have a look. What's what? That's all. Yeah, this is all about the European League. We're going to get to that. Stephen Tilley, Levy has a manager lined up who never leaves to chance. Who do you think it is? So I haven't actually asked that. So let's go round. One word answer. HG.
Nagelsmann.
Brendan.
Nagelsmann.
Come on then, Seb.
I think it was. I can't do a one-word answer. I think it was Nagelsmann, and now I think there's a bit of doubt.
So who's your answer then?
I think I just said it. I think it was Nagelsmann, but because of the European Super League, I now think there's a bit of doubt. There'll be a bit of
So who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
I think. Look, after listening to what HG said about the availability of the extra funds that could tempt Nagelsmann, yeah, I think it probably will be Nagelsmann.
You just did a Scott Parker.
Yeah, I did.
Absolutely,
Look,
Scott
I
Parker.
listen to it. I listen to other people who are perhaps a bit more informed. I can't believe I'm saying that about HG, and he's convinced me. Well done, mate.
Well, he lives closer to Germany than any of us, so he's definitely in the know. Saikara, I can't quite read this without shrinking it. Thinking about the cup final, how many of the current team played with Ryan Mason? Because if there's a few, it could really help the team pull together. HG, do you think we've got a better chance right now with, Mourinho's gone? Do you think Mason's going to be a better fit? Do you think he's going to lead us to the cup final, number one? And do you think we've got a prayer, number two?
I have as much first-team management experience as Ryan Mason. So I'm not putting much stock in the fact that he's going to do anything super special. In fact, I have a feeling that Chris Powell may be more involved than Ryan Mason is.
Yeah.
But Ryan Mason is a Spurs name. So Ryan Mason is the name that Spurs fans will go, okay, yeah, he's Spurs through and through, even though he grew up a Chelsea fan. I don't expect much. It would be nice to think that we'll go out and play this wonderful attacking football. It's nice to see that Man City obviously won't be with their best player, with De Bruyne being injured.
Yeah.
But I think if we go out and try and beat them, they're still better than us. We have a better striker. So we don't, because he might be injured. This is the crazy thing. It could be the most exciting, chance-filled game where nobody scores. But I still think that City will win relatively comfortably because we can't defend. I mean, it's going to be basically a shootout.
I guess Toby will be picked, though. That's the bright side, isn't it?
You'd hope so. Yeah, Toby +1. I mean, right now it's probably Toby +10. Who knows where we're going to go? Like, I'm the opposite to Brendan. I have very little desire to watch it because of what's gone on.
We'll get into that. We will get.
Yeah, I know, but that's why. Like the cup final. What does it mean? We win a trophy, but whatever comes with it, no, I'm not.
Same.
The whole thing is tainted.
I suppose the good news is we're playing another shit team in City, who are also in it. So it's shits versus shits, really, for the shit cup that's probably going to be got rid of the next season. Phil Ambrose says, I love Mason, but is not sure he's ready to manage the last 7 games. Also reluctant to be stuck in the Ole situation if he does well. I would have gone for Ari till the end of the season. Brendan, would you go for Ari till the end of the season? He's not even on the list, and I think the King of the Jungle should be given due respect and considered.
I could see it happening. Didn't he go to Bournemouth recently? Was he given up there? He went to help out in the back room at Bournemouth. I seem to have seen recently. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong there? He did go to Bournemouth recently, didn't he?
I mean,
he has been Bournemouth, yeah.
Yeah,
but he's not there anymore. So I'd take Harry. I really enjoyed us under Harry, watching us in terms of the swashbuckling football that we played under him. We had a great team. It was fun to watch us. He was funny. I enjoyed his post-match interviews. So yeah, I'd take him in a heartbeat for these 7 games. If it's not going to work with Mason and Chris Powell, why not? He'd jump at the chance. He would definitely.
Oh, yeah.
It. And a lot of the players, like you were saying about Doherty, their confidence is rock bottom. Harry's the sort of guy, arm around the shoulder. Come on, mate. Oh, you're terrific. Come on, go out and run about.
Terrific.
That will do for 7 games, but it's not going to be a long-term project if we need someone in the interim. Benitez won't take it for just the 7 games. I think Nagelsmann has been lined up to take over next season. So if we're looking at just these 7 games, yeah, I'll take Harry.
Seb?
No, not really. Harry's great, but he's actually quite a while out of football now, number one. And if it just needs someone who knows the ins and outs of the club, then I imagine the club has changed quite significantly, certainly with training grounds and things like that since Redknapp was there.
We have got a good training ground. That's true.
But if you want people who know the club, then those people are there. Ledley King, Ryan Mason.
Well, this is my question. So here's my question. Someone's very, very astutely said Ledley King. Where is Ledley in all of this, and why is he not being the first person linked with it? I mean, he's the guy who's closest to the first team, isn't he? And all of a sudden, HG, I'm coming to you on this. Why is he sort of discounted?
I would say Ledley has been discounted because he was employed based on the name and not based on the quality. And I think the club have looked at this and realised that. I mean, you see an interview with Ledley King. He's not inspiring, is he? Really, he's quite a meek. He seems quite a meek and timid person. Doesn't he seem like the person who wants to stand up in front of a room and inspire people? I don't think Ryan Mason is that either. If I'm honest,
he was our club captain, to be fair.
Yeah, but club captain means that you represent the club. Like you are basically the boring yes man of choice. That to me is Ledley King. Like I wish it was more. I wish he had a bit of passion about him. But he doesn't seem to, and I think at some point it's not just passion. You need to have knowledge as well. But we've not seen the supposed the defensive nous that he may have brought to us because we haven't shown it.
Oh no,
so you do wonder.
Okay. FP.
Has he got his badges as well? Just a quick thing.
I don't think he has got his badges. I don't think he has got his badges. I don't think Ryan Mason's got his badges. I think Chris Powell's the only one that has. FP, we know that is Ryan Mason could be the next Brendan Rodgers. He's talking to you, HG.
Yeah, Ryan Mason could be the next Brendan Rodgers, which means he'll be good in about 10 years once he's been sacked by Watford. That is Ryan Mason's future. I just don't see it. Like if you were going to look at anyone in the recent past at Spurs, then I mean Brendan's right. You're looking at Redknapp, you're looking at Martin Jol, you're looking at someone who thinks right for 7 games, just to kind of rally people around, get everyone liking football again. Then fair enough. To me, this screams of I don't really care who's going to be manager for the next 7 games. My focus, if I'm Levy, is who takes over in the summer. That is his goal. I don't think he's interested really in the next 6 league games plus the cup final.
And this is what I was coming on to. So, Seb, do you think we will wait till the summer to appoint someone, and is there merit in doing so to get the right man for the job?
Before I answer that question, can I say 3 little letters to you about a guy who's currently out of work, knows Tottenham through and through? V.
Oh, no. No, I liked AVB. I liked him, but I don't think I want to see him back.
No, I'm only kidding. Sorry, caller, what was your question?
My question was, is there merit in terms of waiting till the summer to hang on and appoint the right person, or do you think we will make a quick appointment?
I'd like a quicker appointment because I think, look, for me, Champions League's gone. Let's see how high we can finish up the league. But for me, these weeks now would be good for a new man to come in, assess the squad, and give Levy his report on who he intends to sell, what he feels he needs for the summer. If someone comes in on the 1st of July, that type of thing, like I think we did with AVB and back in the day, then you're missing out on 8 to 12 weeks of assessment time, and figuring out within that squad who there'll be players who want to leave even though Mourinho's gone. So indeed that. So I'd like someone in sooner rather than later. But if it's Nagelsmann, as HG said, will he leave Leipzig now?
No.
It could be unlikely. Yeah.
I think all the about to be revealed. If it's Nagelsmann, I think it'll be a quick appointment.
No, we might announce the appointment soon,
Yeah.
but he'll take over as soon as the season's finished, or as soon as, whether it's June 30th. Like I know with Pochettino resigned, and then a few days later he was appointed Spurs boss. You might see that was the end of May.
Yeah.
But it's like Spurs might want to announce this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, if only to give the players a bit of reassurance of what the future might hold. But I don't see. I mean, Nagelsmann, they're still in the German Cup, Leipzig, right? They haven't. I mean, they're basically qualified for next season's whatever Europe is competition. But yeah, he's got unfinished business there. And although German teams this season have been quite common in deciding that they're going to switch managers and announce it in February or March or April, whenever it is, I think for Spurs it will be, if it's announced, then fine, but nothing will happen. They won't come to Tottenham and start their job until they're completely finished with their current employment.
And a question from David Harris: if HG, I think he means HG rather than HH, nearly Triple H, organised a family wedding, would the invite always say Toby +1?
Yeah, if it was Jose's wedding, absolutely. Toby +1 forget number 42, right? Toby +1 is the answer to all things in life.
There you go. You heard it here first. Right. So, here's a question for you all. I'm going to ask you for a brief answer on this, and we are summing up the Jose era now. Number one, I want to know if you're happy or sad we sacked him right now, and that's a very simple, short answer. The second part of it, how will Jose, or as you would like to say, Brendan, Jose, how would his time at Tottenham be remembered? Let's go to you first, Brendan, while you're fired up.
Mate, it's Jose.
There you go. See?
He was 18 months with us. After
I hope
months,
we get Nagelsmann so I can go, Nagelsmann!
I forgot the question now. Happy that it's gone now? Yes. How will it be remembered? Turbulent, I think, would be the one-word answer there. I was happy when we appointed him. I understood the appointment. I backed it and I stuck with it as long as possible. But I think it was when I had a little rant with you on WhatsApp. It was the Brighton game, I think, in January. That was when I was done.
It's always Brighton. That did for Poch as well.
Yeah. It was either the Brighton game or the Chelsea game where we lost 1-0 and just didn't bother, didn't try. So, yeah, I'm glad he's gone. Summing up his tenure, turbulent, would be my one-word answer.
Okay. Seb, you next, mate.
Yeah, obviously relieved, I think, more than anything.
Relieved.
I said in a couple of articles that I did that it's the first time probably since 2003, 2004 that I actually wasn't bothered about watching us. Certainly didn't enjoy watching us. It was an effort. It was an effort to get through the game. So, yeah, absolutely relieved and glad that he's gone. How will it be remembered? Well, again, harking back to something that I said before, it'll be remembered that Jose now is a busted flush. And I think we can all agree that I was right. I can only see him going to an international job, certainly for the next year or so, until another club forget how abject he was. The football was putrid. His man management skills were appalling. He's not a coach, in his own words, so I don't quite know what he offered. And it's only right that he was relieved of his duties. But I'm sure the £15 million payoff will sit quite nicely.
Sure it will. Not that he needs the money, really. HG, over to you.
I'd have preferred that he got sacked next Monday. That's the only thing that I'm annoyed about. I wanted it to be after the League Cup final, because I still believe that even if we'd hated Jose with a medal on the line, the players might have been more motivated. Even if they hated Mourinho, they would have tried more than they have done recently, because clearly they don't seem to care. That's the only downside. I don't think we've got a great chance of winning it anyway, so there's no issue. But that would have been the one thing. I'd have waited another week. As opposed to Mourinho's tenure, I think that we did get the famous 3 seasons. I just think that it basically turned out into Well, no, it ended up being season 1 was before the pandemic. Season 2 was between the first lockdown and the end of last season, and season 3 is season 2 is the rest of 2020, when we did all right in Project Restart and we did all right before Christmas, and then season 3 was 2021, and we've been awful since January the 1st, pretty much. We've just gone from mistake to mistake. There's been no continuity, and Jose is the reason for that. So it had to happen. But overall, we knew what we were going to get. We just got it in a shorter time frame.
Okay, good stuff. I mean, I will remember Jose's time as one that I campaigned for that I regret horribly. It's not often I admit that I got things wrong, but it was almost right. It was almost right.
So last season, you predicted that we would finish above Liverpool, and clearly we didn't. And then you decided you wanted Jose to take over.
Calling me out on this.
Do we see a pattern developing here, caller?
What's the pattern you're suggesting?
Well, I know. What are you predicting for next year? Let's get it right now.
I think I need to wait and see who's appointed first. Because if it's Eddie Howe, all bets are off. Yeah.
So basically, it's what would Caller not do seems to be the future of Spurs.
I think I'd like to say I was right about a lot of things. I predicted Eddie Howe's downfall, and that happened. And I predicted, Liverpool's downfall, and that happened. It just happened a season later than I thought it would.
Yeah, because you didn't plan for the injuries. Look, I think that as much as we're all happy that Mourinho is gone, and we are all happy about this is just one of the problems, right? We still obviously have massive issues at the club, and no coach is going to come in and make the situation the way we want it to be. We still have to get rid of some players. We still have to use the window to try and get new players in. I don't trust Hitchin to do that. So there are still massive issues.
I mean, the big issue is Hitchin, really, isn't it? Hitchin.
Well, now it probably is, to be honest. I hate January. Well, I'm sorry, dude. That is your job. You need to get on that, and you need to figure out what you want to do. And frankly, you should already know what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that the new manager might come in and have a certain way of playing and might say, I want this or I want that. But Hitchin should know that if it's Nagelsmann, when Nagelsmann walks in on the 1st of July, Hitchin says, this is the list that we have sorted out. We've got good leads on making sure that these things happen, and we were waiting for you to start before we did any of it. It shouldn't be Hitchin going to him on July the 1st saying, what do you want? The club should know.
Definitely don't wait till January.
No, but the club should know now. Nagelsmann is a coach first and foremost, right? He took over at Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim don't have any major names. They never have had any major names. Leipzig, again, it's a bunch of youngsters or unheralded first teamers. People Forsberg has been there a long time. Sabitzer's been there a long time. But they're not world-renowned names, but he's formed a team from it and carried on the good work that was done beforehand. So you'd like to think that, okay, if we're going to play like Leipzig do, then we need young, mobile players. That's going to be how he wants to play. He won't be able to do that with some of the older deadwood that we have. He likes to play 3 at the back. That would be a massive issue for Spurs. So I just hope that we know, regardless of who the coach is, we know what we want to do, and we've started to try and make that happen, because that is the next step.
Absolutely. Look, we're gonna leave Mourinho there. He's now part of our history, and we're going to look towards the future. Is that you leaving Mourinho somewhere?
That was to Mourinho, yeah.
Okay. Well, the next topic of conversation is the Super League. So, do you want to do the same again?
I've got nothing good to say about it.
Well, I've got lots of questions. I've got lots of questions for you. I do like this comment by someone called David Moyes, who's watching us tonight. Imagine swashbuckling football with a backline composing of Aurier, Doherty, Sanchez, and Sissoko in the midfield. It's a lip smacking, tongue licking proposition, is it not? Absolutely is. Right. So we've got the details. Seb, by the way, I know you need to get off. So anytime you need to get off, you just say, mate. You just say.
Well, I'll be brief. I'll say now that in line with HG, we did a pod earlier today. There is nothing good to say about it at all, as HG said. I wrote an article if people would like to give that a read. We're an embarrassment. It's embarrassing to be associated with a football club that are intent on destroying the fabric of everything sport-wise that this country and the FA and everything else stand for. It's a complete embarrassment. I actually got emotional writing that article today because if you look, I did get emotional writing it because if you think of the history as the song goes, it's just being ignored. No, they don't care. Joe Lewis does not care at all.
Right. You know, well, I'm gonna throw this across to Brendan because he's got a slightly contrasting view.
I'll leave it there, guys.
Seb, look, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. I know you've been a bit poorly, bit of a bad tummy this afternoon. So, look, thanks for making it through the broadcast without needing a little boys' room.
And, no worries, I'm off there now.
We can't see his bottom half. He could have been going. We can't see his bottom half.
Be on the potty. We will absolutely see you soon. So thank you very much, mate, for all you do, and thanks for joining us tonight.
No worries. Good to see you. Thanks, guys.
Bren, what's your view, therefore, on the details of the Super League format? Was there any surprises to you? Was it? I mean, I've not spoken to you about this at all. This isn't kayfabe. This is real. I haven't spoken to you at all about this. What's your view on it? First, kind of ironic, we've got the Champions League picture in the background. What is your view on all of this?
I'm not for it. Well, my comment earlier was I'm glad that we are in that conversation because we don't want to get left behind. I just think that looking at the club statement on it, because I went to the club website when the Jose was sacked and couldn't find the announcement, but then I read the details of the Super League. They want to remain in their domestic league, so it's not like we're saying, "Oh, fuck you" to the Premier League. We're gonna do our own thing. It looks to me just more of a replacement for the Champions League. It's basically it's an exclusive club.
Yeah.
Basically, the Champions League games, the teams you see in the Champions League, just you won't be seeing Zagreb or Basel or
teams that have beaten us recently.
Which is an advantage straight away.
We'll get beaten by good teams this time. But I'm not as emotional about it as Seb, and I'm not for it. I just think that it's inevitable. This was always going to happen. That the clubs are sort of pushing their luck to see how far they can get. And I've read the details. It's not. They're not saying, "Oh, we're leaving the Premier League." I'm surprised. I'm surprised we're in it. I saw a tweet today that said Spurs being in the European Super League or being called for it is like Banana Man getting called up for the Avengers. Oh, that was brilliant. We're in that conversation, and we should be in that conversation because we are a big club. The sanctions that will be brought on us by the Premier League, those honourable people at the Premier League that only care about the integrity and grassroots and everything. Well, let's see. Are they going to chuck out United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs?
Of course
Arsenal?
They're not.
Of course they're not. Without those teams, the league's nothing. Well, not nothing, but you know what I mean. Like it's a power play.
It's significantly less. I think that might be a slightly arrogant statement. It's probably not nothing, but it's certainly. I get what you're saying. Maybe the way you're saying it is slightly drunk.
Yeah, I'm not drunk though.
But I know you're not. I'm trying to make excuses for you. That was the. But I don't think the league is certainly less with the top six teams out of it. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. I suppose the thing is, and this is where I cast it over to you, HG. Do you really see the Premier League booting out the top six teams in the country? Because I just I know we've had 24 hours, lots of emotion. I know how you feel about it. I know how I feel about it. But when I put my rational head on, I don't for a second think seriously that the Premier League are to boot out the six teams, because that dilutes the TV deal apart from that and everything else, and it affects the pyramid and so on and so forth. So what's your thoughts?
Look, I mean, I watched the Monday Night Football on Sky before the Leeds-Liverpool game started, and they interviewed Steve Parish, the chairman of Crystal Palace, and they asked him basically the same question. Shit. right? They asked him the same question, and Steve Parish was like, "No, we don't want them to go." So, and probably for the reasons that you just said, that they understand that the league is a better product with those 6 teams in it. Having said that, at some point you have to draw the line, right? And like, as much as like I would like various things to happen, but at some point you say, no, enough is enough. And I honestly, I think this is the point where they need to say enough is enough. They have been giving inches to these teams for the last 10 years. Like every 3 years, the revenue is split somewhat differently, and it then depends on historical performance. It means you get a bit more money, and these clubs already get more money because they're on TV more. So, like, okay, Man United and Spurs and all the rest of them, yes, we bring in a lot of revenue for the entire league, but we do take a lot more out of it than most of the other teams. So it's not as if we're giving away money. We're not. I just feel that it would be time. Like if I was a supporter of those 14 teams, I would be saying to hell with them, right? To hell with these clubs. If they think they can get a better deal somewhere else, good luck to them. But I don't. That's not part of where we want to be. That's not part of who we want to be. We don't want that kind of structure where basically the big teams can bully everyone else into giving up the things they want to give up.
I suppose that my question was really, do you think that'll happen? Do you think they'll get expulted?
Expelled? No, I don't think they will.
Expulted is stuff Harry Potter.
But no, I don't think they will. But I want them to. I want to see it. I mean, that's weird as a Spurs fan to say. I want my team to be thrown out of the Premier League. Now, maybe it will be another power play move, and we'll throw them out, and then the big 6 will come with their tails between their legs because the Super League isn't happening, and then we'll say, okay, then you can come back in, and we'll all forget that the argument happened. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, the Premier League will be a worse product without these 6 teams, but it will be a more competitive product without those 6 teams, because those 6 teams have such a financial advantage over the others. The teams like West Ham and Leicester and Everton, who are next in line, well, there's a reason they're towards the top, but they're much closer to other, who else is there? Like Palace are in mid-table, Arsenal, well, they won't be in it, are also mid-table. But I just think that they do need to turn around and say, enough's enough.
I mean, and just like that, enough's enough. Here is the General, Franco Parker. How are you doing, Franco? You all right?
I'm wonderful, yeah. Just really wanted to get involved in this part of the discussion.
I mean, we've tagged you in like the Hardy Boys, tagging in, Seb's gone to the toilet, and here, fresh from the toilet, is Franco to give his take on a few things. Was it a surprise to you, Franco, the details of this tournament, or was it pretty much what you expected?
No caller. Hence the discussion yesterday where we're all pretty confident what this was going to be. And you were saying, no, just wait and see. It might be so much better. It might not be as bad as we think. This has always been the case. It was always going to be a closed loop for the big teams in Europe. And I was listening to Kat from the Supporters Trust earlier. She is livid. Says that, the club didn't consult at all with them.
Why would the club be support? I mean, look, I'm a supporter of the Supporters Trust. I get it, but do you think they were ever likely to do that?
They should have done. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, football is nothing without the fans. I think this year and the closed stadiums have shown that. So you think that they would at least consult with their fan base, and if not their fan base, then the Supporters Trust, which are there to represent them. So yeah, the fact that she's livid about it just goes to show that. Apparently, she said it in the previous meeting when they were talking about it. They got the impression that Levy was kind of saying, well, I'm a fan of the club, so I know what's right for them. They're not happy.
Well, I guess Levy would frame it that he is a fan of the club and he knows what's right for him, and what's right for him is to be at the top seat of European football.
Look, I don't really have an issue with that. You're like the argument that if we weren't part of it, then we'd be losing out, fine. But I just think the principle of what they're even proposing in the first place should never have got to this stage. If they consulted with the league, with the fans, then they would have been probably told like 90% of people are against this. I know some aren't, but,
that's why they didn't, isn't it? That's why they didn't, because they already knew what they were going to do. And so telling people that you're going to be evil before you're evil, well, where's the fun in that? Let's just be evil.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. The idea that it's somehow better that we're at the top table. It's like, yeah, we've been given a gun to kill everyone else, so that way we don't get killed is not a plus point. I don't want to be involved in killing. I don't want to be involved in it. The idea that somehow we're now responsible is worse. I would rather not be at the top table and have this happening to us than being the ones who are doing it.
But a counterpoint to that, HG, can you imagine if this went ahead, we took a moral stance as a club, said we're not going to do it. We've just built a massive stadium. We've got loads of debt, and now we see our revenues fall because of it. Fans would have been going mental, saying that's mismanagement by Levy. You can't even get this bit right. So it's a not.
Of course.
Not an easy situation.
It's about doing what's right and not about doing what we think the people want.
I don't think there's a win situation for Levy in this. He comes out looking like a twat no matter what. Brendan, you're chomping at the bit. I can see what you're trying to say.
I get the anger, but isn't it just UEFA the ones that should feel the most hard done by? The club has said we want to stay part of the Premier League. We just want midweek games in this new European Super League, and screw UEFA, screw the Champions League. The format
and screw the rest of the Premier League. And
screw the rest
of the Premier League.
What skin is it off their nose?
Because there's no promotion or relegation to it. You can't qualify.
Because these teams can't enter the competition. It will be extremely difficult for them. No, what do you mean they didn't anyway? We've got Leicester and West Ham who are in the top 4 right now. So the idea that they didn't...
So everyone's anger is because Leicester can't get into this group.
Yes, yes. Yeah. It's called morals, Brendan.
It's called fairness.
We want a system that says you are rewarded for being good and not for being shit. And that is the situation that they want. They want a situation where clubs are rewarded because they are large and not because they are good. And I'm against that. I always will be.
Yeah, the thing that worries me is the precedent this sets, because effectively, if we're in it, we've got guaranteed increased revenues for like 3, 4, 5 years, whatever they've agreed. We can have a situation where Levy
23 years, Franco. It's 23 years.
What, the founding teams are 23 years guaranteed?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Do you know what I mean? Levy there can just say, I don't need to spend any money on players. I can carry on as I am. We can finish mid-table in the league, do nothing in the FA Cup, but we've got guaranteed European big money every single season.
Yeah.
That's what the cynics will look at.
Is that not an issue, Bren?
Well, surely winning the European Super League is in itself a competition to aim for. No, I'm not saying I don't know why I'm being.
I mean, the format of it. Let me come baent to this. Let me just rein it in a little bit. Rein it in, because you're all like bulls trying to get out of the pen, all butting up against each other. Brent, the format of it, is it not an issue that there is no opportunity to qualify for anyone below? Well, there's 5 teams. There is 5. I don't see that Britain's going to get one of those, and the Premier League's going to get one of those.
I'd imagine it would be one team from all of the major leagues.
So there's one space reduced from 6, because we've got the Europa League and the Champions League.
Well, no, they might still exist. There's nothing saying that UEFA can't have minority European leagues, but they won't be able to get any TV revenue. So
it won't be. Yeah, equivalent Champions League money won't exist. Yep, I think we've agreed on that. Yeah. So is that fair? We've in effect gone from at least 4 to 1. Is that fair?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Probably not. No, I just this was coming.
I mean, it was a leading question.
Yeah.
What do you mean it was coming? What do you mean it was coming?
This talk of the European Super League has been coming for 10 years now. We knew this was coming, and that's why UEFA were bringing in the changes to the Champions League, because they were like, well, let's give these prestige places for teams that don't qualify because they're big teams. So UEFA are kind of doing it themselves anyway. Let's not stop pretending that there's some kind of moral.
They're not. They're not.
But no one's saying UEFA are moral. The point is, the only reason they're doing that is because it means more money and the bigger teams pushed for it. I don't think they'd be doing it otherwise. Like we had the system where it was 4 teams that got in, and it was 3, and then the 4th team had to play off. Well, the big countries didn't like that, so it became 4 teams guaranteed. That was a wrong decision. Okay, you need to prove that you are better than those teams. The idea that because you're the 4th best team in England means that you are automatically better than some other team is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You are only being in it because you provide money and you provide revenue. And that to me is wrong. So they're changing it again so they can get a bit more revenue and more teams can, well, no, not more teams, 4 more teams, but everyone gets 10 games instead of 6. so everyone gets a bit more revenue. But they will keep on eating this. The big teams will then ask for more again. And I think it's got to the point where the big teams are like, screw it. We don't want to do it bit by bit. We think we've got enough power that we can basically bully everyone else into doing what we want. And that's wrong. Like UEFA should turn around and say, sod it. No, we'll keep it as it is, thanks. Or we'll take a spot away from you. It's crazy that we keep on giving away more power and more money to the clubs that don't need it.
Okay. I want to pick up on this comment here from Pavi D. Let's be honest, this is a power play by clubs against FIFA. It's a pissing contest, and I expect both to meet in the middle for changes. Let's not forget how corrupt FIFA and UEFA is to begin with. Franco, do you not think, as I've pitched the whole way along, this is some sort of power play because they're not happy with the new Champions League, the top clubs in Europe? They want more revenue from UEFA, and they will find a middle ground, and this is purely a power play. What do you think?
I think it could go either way. The thing that worries me is that it's obviously been a PR disaster to start with. So
they must have known that though.
But that's what I mean. But so this is the point I'm making. If they've anticipated what a PR disaster would be, they must think the benefits will be greater than that. And I can't believe like a marginally increased benefit from the Champions League will be enough. You look at the money they're talking about; it's massive. They've already decided on a structure. They've already got 12 of the Europe's largest teams to sign up to it. And I also think that some of the lower placed teams in the league that aren't going to be involved in it must have been consulted a little bit as well, because they must have been wary of a backlash in that situation. So the thing that concerns me is that, like we said, it might be strong arm tactics, but I really think they've got to the stage where they think that they can do this and be successful. Now, the only thing I can really see that UEFA have got going for them, not FIFA, but UEFA have got going for them, is like the European Championships. Because FIFA is the World Cup, so they control those European international matches. But the threat of like Harry Kane and various others not being able to represent their country really seems to me to be the only leverage they've got now.
Legally, can they do that, HG? I mean, I think that they can not select them. They can absolutely do that. That's within their right to do so. But legally,
that's the FA. That's not FIFA. The FA decides our international team.
Yeah, absolutely.
FIFA governs world football. So if players are playing in a competition which they don't license, then they can say these players that play in this competition cannot represent their country. I'm fairly sure they'll be able to do that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course they can. It's their competition.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the players. Number one, it's discriminate. Surely that would be some sort of discrimination law violation.
Yeah, but then it comes. Who do you blame for the change? Do you blame UEFA for saying that these players can't play in our tournaments now? Or do you blame the clubs because they're the ones that have changed the system that has been working? That's what it will come down to. But yeah, if I'm UEFA, I run the Euros. If I'm FIFA, I run the World Cup. I can decide who is eligible to be picked for my tournament. Absolutely. And Franco's right. That's the only leverage they have. The only way this won't happen, the whole Super League won't happen, is if the top players turn around and say, no thanks, I'm not interested. I want to play in the Euros and I want to play in the World Cup, and I am happy to keep things the way they are rather than blow everything up just so I can get a bit more money. Because that's
Brendan, do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that's going to happen with 300, 400 grand on the table a week for players?
300, 400 grand? What additional for the players, you mean?
Well, I just mean that the players are going to benefit hugely out of this. You know, we talk about greed and everything, but surely the players have got a massive responsibility. Do you really see them kicking off about this? Because I've seen today there was a player. Who was it? Who was it? Help me out, guys.
Ander Herrera?
No, a Premier League player. Bruno Fernandes. Okay. There you go. Put on his Instagram about greed, etc., etc. Do you really see players taking a moral stand about this when they're already paid about 400 times the average salary of the normal working man?
But it's not a moral stand they'll take. It's whether they want to play international football or not and represent their country. It's different.
Well, that's yet to be proven that they can be banned or will be banned. It's yet to be proven.
Yet to be proven means you don't believe what everyone else is reading.
I'm asking Brendan, not you.
Yeah, I think some players will probably take a stand against it. I think Jurgen Klopp came out against it, which he said I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I don't think it's right. It's not right. It's greed. It's pure greed, and you can see some of the players maybe going against their clubs. There must be some kind of a contractual obligation for them not to do so, but so they'll probably be smart in how they do it. But you'd like to think that the players can see that this is a bad idea, that it's not for the benefit of the country, it's not for the benefit of meritocracy. It's a power grab. So yeah, you can see maybe players like Kane taking a stand and saying no, we're against this.
Phil Ambrose says, I'm not sure if you saw that. They won't rule out 75% of the top players from their tournament. Sponsors and broadcasters would go mad.
That's exactly it. So that's probably why they think they're in this position, because they think if they keep pressing it, then FIFA and UEFA will eventually just go, it's the worst of a bad situation, or it's the best of a bad situation, isn't it? Essentially, and the same with the Premier League. They'll probably go, well, it's really unfair, but all the other clubs will go, well, we'll still get some money out of it, and it's not brilliant. We'll just
okay. You went on when I asked this question earlier. I mean, I know what my view is, but do you really think that the Premier League will kick out the Big Six?
No, and I think that's what they're that's what they're
banking on. Yeah.
That's why they're going on it. That's why they're going for it now. And I think it's
there are people that do. I think that's the point. The reason I bring it up is because there are people that are convinced that is what will happen. I mean, I remember last night, HG and Seb were absolutely gunning for me when I suggested that they wouldn't get kicked out, because I don't believe they will.
That was before we saw the money involved. I would agree with HG, but when you see billions and billions, it's just, that they probably are in a position where they can go, we're going to get more money from this than we will do from the Premier League. So if you don't want it, it's just this, it's going to be such an interesting sort of situation. The fact they've done it now, not, they've allowed themselves extra time until the seasons will start or whatever. I really think they're going to go for it. I really do. And the thing is really cynical, which makes the point, is that on the Spurs website, they talked about the financial issues caused by the pandemic. I just think it's such a cynical move that they are literally probably taking advantage, because I'm sure they've been biding their time trying to put things out in the press over the years to see what the general feeling was. And the fact is now they've gone, right, we've got a legitimate
There's a reason. Yeah, legitimate.
We can use the pandemic. Everyone's struggling. We can try and sell this as a benefit to everybody and take advantage of the situation. Massively cynical.
I'm going to put you on the spot. I'll take this question myself, Franco, as well. Are you going to renew your season ticket?
Oh God, yes.
Because
almost certainly. What do you mean? Because it's still my football team. It's awful. At the minute, I can't say no. My moral stance is I'm not going to go to any. If we're in the European Super League, I'm not going to go to any of it.
Yeah.
And I won't be watching, he says.
I was going to say,
isn't this
the problem, though, that everyone at this point, everyone's on the moral high ground and saying, no. But when we're playing Barcelona on a Wednesday night and you've got nothing...
Again, this is the thing you don't seem to understand about taking a stance on things. Now is the time to do something about it, right? And if everybody was really bothered and did something about it, and everyone in unison coordinated with the Supporters Trust and didn't go to games, said, right, screw this lot, we're going to show them with our feet, and we're not going to buy any Spurs shirts for 70 quid, which I don't.
But you're going to renew your season ticket?
No, my point is, if it's going to happen because of inaction by everybody, then it's just gone, isn't it? What do I do then? It's the same situation as now, isn't it? I don't enjoy having to pay the money I have to for Spurs, but it's my club, and I enjoy going to watch them play football. I enjoy going to football matches. Now, I can stand up against things which I don't think are beneficial for the game, which I think are awful. But if we're not going to do it collectively, and there isn't the appetite amongst all fans, then at the end of the day, I'm just spiting myself, aren't I, for nothing?
Well, I won't renew mine if you don't renew yours. HG, HG, if you had a season ticket, would you renew it right now?
No.
Bren?
No.
Yeah, because I miss going to games. So if I had one, I'd be going to games. So fuck yeah.
I'll be honest. If I had a season ticket, I would probably be that awful person who renews it because he wants to keep the season ticket in the name just in case things get better, and then and then not go and have, maybe give it away to friends or let people who do want to go to games. I mean that's an awful thing because I don't like people who do that, but that's probably what I would end up doing. But I can't support Spurs for what they're doing. I can't.
Brent, what will happen to the domestic cups? Do you think if this goes ahead, like we're pretty sort of talking like it will now? I mean, I'll put it out there. I believe it's a power play. We'll see if I'm right. But if this does go ahead, what does that mean for domestic cups in this country?
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the Carabao. I'm happy to scrap the Carabao anyway, but the FA Cup.
No one likes the Carabao, if I'm being really honest. But we're in the final, so all of a sudden I do.
It's a weird cup. It's got 3 handles. What cup has 3 handles? Just weird. But yeah,
none that Brendan's drunk from, clearly.
There is that. I don't think it's a power play. I think they are genuinely going for this, but I do think I'm with Franco that the backlash has been so strong that I think they will backtrack. We put in the Patreon their little website that they had. I was just like, oh, isn't that cute? They got a little website. Oh, bless them.
Yeah, but it's crap. There's crap all on it. There's crap all on it.
Yeah.
I mean, a teenager could have designed that in about an hour in their lunch hour. It's so basic, it's untrue.
Almost certainly.
Sorry again?
It's almost certainly fake, isn't it? I thought.
No, I think it's real.
Is it? No, it's a real website.
It was it was on the Sky Sports website. It was unless they've been conned. But yeah, it's real. Amazingly.
I mean, I almost think that the League Cup now. You look at who's won it for X amount of time is the Man City Cup these days, isn't it? But if we're not taking part in it, I don't see any logistical way that it can happen because what is it, 23 games minimum HG to get to the final?
This is where I was getting to. You talk
18 games minimum.
Can you two just facilitate while I go to the little boys' room? I've been going for an hour and I've had 3 gins. I need to.
Yeah, no worries. if it's 18 games, 18 additional games, and then 23 to get to the final, I don't see how we can fit that into the schedule. Even starting earlier, they're talking about starting in August. I don't see any way that we can compete in the League Cup. So you've got 6 teams taken out of it, but I see no reason why everyone else can't keep playing. And it won't
we won't be playing. We can put a team in it, but it won't be a good one. I mean, because the thing is, let's be honest. Let's say that we get to the point where we had it this season, where we played on Tuesday and Thursday night out 1 week. Do that again, right? We could let the under-23s go into play the competition. Now, of course, that would devalue it even more, but there's nothing to stop us from doing it. And if we get towards the end of this Super League group stage, and we have no chance of making the playoffs or whatever they call it, the playoffs for the quarterfinals, then maybe we'll think, okay, well, the kids can play in that competition because the money's guaranteed anyway. It won't matter. There are various decisions to be made, but yeah, if we're looking at a 38 game Premier League season, plus whatever the Super League ends up being, is it 18 games plus the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, 2 legs and a final, plus various cup competitions if they still exist in England. Yeah, you'd have to start in August. We may well end up playing Super League games before the Premier League even starts. But I think that's the question for the club to answer. But there's no guarantee that we will just say we don't want to be in it because it's still revenue, right? If it's one more home game, 60 odd thousand in a Spurs stadium, that's still quite a lot of money for the club. I don't think Levy's going to turn it down.
Yeah.
Also on that, can you imagine? Because I can't. If it does happen, I still have my doubts. Cause I doubt there'll be coordination in fixtures. So we could have a scenario where we are playing 2 games at the same time. Where we have a Carabao Cup tie against Blackburn, and we're playing Barcelona in the European Super League at the same time. One's home, one's away. Because there's not going to be any coordination because the domestic leagues aren't on board with the European Super League.
Well, no, because they'll have to be. If we're playing in both, then they will be, won't they?
Well, no, but they won't because they're different organisations. I mean, that's the point. The League Cup could just say, no, we're going to do it when we want to do it. And
not the
it
League
clashes
Cup.
with the,
I mean, as in,
Sorry?
yeah, I get that point, but I'm saying the Premier League will be on board of it.
yeah, well, the Premier League games will take place at the weekend, won't they? So they
Yeah.
won't clash with. But yeah, like I mean, yeah, 23 midweeks. I mean, I wonder how many midweeks we've actually played this season. Bearing in mind we had the 3 qualification games to the Europa League, plus the 6 group stages, plus the 4 in the knockout stages. We've not been far off it. It's just a case of, yeah, when are they going to fit everything in? They must have thought this through. They must have decided that
There'll be a plan.
But we're going to have these. And what do you say? 18 games for the group stages. I mean, you're talking. It's going to go that will go until January, February time.
Exactly.
I mean, it's crazy. And so, what will happen with internationals? Like, will they decide? Well, we're not going to release our players for internationals because they're banned, so we can play Super League games those weekends. There are lots of options on the table, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to, do you think it's the right thing to do? And I don't. So I'm full on about making sure it doesn't happen and getting everyone together and getting the fans together and saying, no, this is not going to happen, and lobbying the players to say, no, enough is enough.
They're the ones who can make a real difference. Sorry to cut in, but they're the ones who can make a real difference. The fans are already being ignored. The fans have been ignored all the way through. I mean, we knew what the reaction was going to be to this announcement, and they still did it.
But you're not a fan, Owen. You are a legacy fan. You are a heritage fan. Basically, you're the fan that has been with the club for a long time, but they don't care about you. They care about the fans in Asia, the ones that do want to see Spurs play Barcelona more often than they play Burnley. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. Yeah, the fans of the future. Whatever.
Fans of the future.
That is true.
There was an interesting comment on the video you did last night from some guy, and I think he said something on the lines of, this is going to democratise football and that England doesn't own the rights to football. But that's not the point. Like, if you want whatever country you're from to be leading in the world of football, then improve your league. And I don't know, you need to get it to the same standard. That's all it is, isn't it? Like, this is our football. Premier League and the football competition in this country is ours. And we it's ridiculous that we're just going to accept it to be changed because everyone wants to see our best teams play the other best teams from Europe. It shouldn't work like that.
I mean, the comment I just flicked up on the screen. Did you see that?
No.
UEFA are only upset because they won't be getting a cut of the new league, and no one was making a fuss when they changed the Champions League rules to protect the sides with history. We need to overhaul the entire system. I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But UEFA, as we've already said, is a competition which anybody can gain access to. This isn't. Yeah. So,
UEFA, if there was promotion and relegation to this proposed Super League or more qualification, would you be for it then?
Well, then it's the Champions League.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, but with bigger riches, etc., etc.
No, you wouldn't get bigger riches. The reason you get bigger riches is because they're guaranteeing that you get in 12 or 15 of Europe's elite clubs in it every single season.
Yeah, but if there was more teams, like 25 teams in it, and there was
no, because
or even 36, like they've just announced today that they want to have from 2024. Yeah. We can sit here and make a list of the 36 biggest teams in Europe with the most revenue and the most fans, and would people watch it? Yeah, it'd be great for the fans of those teams, but it wouldn't be great for the teams like who have come from nowhere and done quite well in the Champions League. There are those teams.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, I'd like to watch Spurs Barcelona.
Yeah, but every season guaranteed.
I'm gonna be controversial and say I'm with Brendan on this. I quite enjoy that.
So you don't care about everybody else because you're all right. It's basically what the argument is.
Absolutely not.
There's little surprise in this, is there? Let's not go down this rabbit hole. What's the next question?
The next question is, well, you should know. You wrote them.
Can I say, look, I do like the one that Paul Hale has put. He says that seeing as this is all about the money, if it takes off, how long before they seek more money and we end up watching Real Madrid versus Tottenham in
that's
New
a good
York or
question.
in Hong Kong, etc.
That's a good question. What do you think, HG?
Well, it's the next stage, surely. I mean, this is it. Like, if you can take a competitive game to 100,000-seater stadium in Michigan, then you're going to do it.
Well, I mean, this
'cause
is
it's all
what they've
about-
done in the NFL with London, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's all about the money. Exactly, it's all about the money. It's not about fans. It's not about history. It's not about anything else. It's just about making sure that they can make as much money as possible. Like the European Super League, I'm sure will have kickoff times at random parts of the day on a Wednesday. Right? Of course we will, because there'll be kickoffs for the Asian market. So maybe one kickoff will start at like lunchtime in Europe, so that we could probably watch it on our lunch break, and the Asian market can watch. Man United versus Liverpool at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday is great for Asia. Why not? I mean, this is it. Like if you're only interested in making money, then we're going to see kickoff times at various times of the day. And the people in Europe, the actual fans of those clubs, will be the ones to lose out, because there might be 3-5 million Liverpool fans in England or whatever, but compared to Asia, that's 1/10 of the amount.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and also a lot. Most countries around the world are developing at a much faster rate than we are in Europe now. Those markets are emerging. There's loads more money to be reaped, and it won't be long until the TV deals you could do with the rest of the world are worth more than the ones that you can do just in Europe. So unless you want to pay like £5,000 for your Sky subscription.
Okay.
Like if we decided tomorrow night we play Southampton, right, and Spurs as a club said, right, for £1 or €1 or whatever it is where you are, the equivalent, you can get access to that game. Now there's a chance that you could get a whole load of fans all around the world, tens of millions, who think for £1, yeah, I'll pay that. And so you're looking at 100 million revenue per game. That's what they want to do. That's exactly what they want to do. It's all about money and ensuring that they are the ones to get it. Yeah. And like I understand that, yes, it might be better for the lower leagues if a higher percentage goes down, but if the percentage is if the amount of revenue is so much more, then basically it's more money for those lower league clubs, but it's not a better deal.
I think we're certainly in for a very interesting next few months in football, and I think it's been a really good debate to have. To close, there's a couple of things to close, and number one, I see Jurgen Klopp has almost come out and undermined Liverpool's owners tonight with his comments, which is certainly going to be a very interesting one in how that plays out, because I imagine Levy would take a destroy him approach to resolving that one, especially with Klopp underachieving.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe that's why he did get rid of Jose. He didn't want Jose gobbing off.
I can't imagine Jose would absolutely be the evil, like Anakin Skywalker with a lightsaber and all of this. He would love to be in the Super League, surely. But it's interesting that Gary Neville who's the bastion of virtue right now. Says Jurgen Klopp has come out tonight, done it in a calm fashion, but absolutely destroyed his club's owners on national television, which is interesting to see, because I don't think that's quite what he's done.
No, but hang on. Did you watch it, Owen?
I'm only reading the quotes.
Yeah, okay. So the thing with Klopp is Klopp has come out repeatedly and said he's against the idea of a Super League.
I mean, he last spoke on it in 2019, in fairness.
Yeah. For the reasons that we've talked about. He's consistent. Like, if you know anything about Jurgen Klopp, you know the type of person he is. He is not interested in seeing the rich get richer at the expense of others. He is not interested in that. So for him to turn around and say, yeah, look, I disagree with what is going on, well, good luck to him. I'm glad he's done it, because we all know how he actually feels. If he'd come out today and said, oh, well, it's a club decision, I didn't really have a part of it, that may well be true, but that's not good enough, right? Yeah. So for him to come out and say what he said, he's stayed true to what he thinks. Like, it wouldn't surprise me, considering the year that they've had and considering the pandemic and that he's lost his mum and all the rest of it, this could be the perfect reason for Klopp to say thanks but no thanks. I'm not interested in this. Absolutely. And I mean, as a Spurs fan, I hope to see it because it would weaken Liverpool. But as a human, I hope to see it because it's the right thing to do.
He would go up in my estimation enormously, given that he's behaved like a bit of a prat at times this season. That's what I would say on that. Right, summing up, the Premier League. I mean, you know what's coming here, Franco. You wrote it. The Premier League, FIFA, UEFA, and even Boris has had his say on this and widely condemned the proposals. Bayern have officially said they won't be joining. Do you think this will go ahead, Franco?
I'm erring more on the side of it's going to happen today.
Is that just a defence mechanism, though?
What, it's going to happen? No, you were in denial yesterday. I wasn't in denial. I think at the moment
still think it's a power play.
Well, we'll see. My genuine hope, like it's probably similar to HG, is that fan associations get together, act against them in a coordinated fashion, and we do things like proper boycotts. Now, the problem will be is that people don't do that. People don't conform. Then they will probably take an assessment and think we're going to earn more money from the TV stuff. Fans will have to accept it. They'll be back in the stadium. So I think it's going to happen. That is my prediction.
Just a quick one on this while I've got you. So we were chatting on the Patreon group earlier, which, by the way, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, do. And if you haven't considered being a Patreon, have a look below the links in the scrolling ticker at the bottom. And I was talking and I was saying, if 62,000 people drop their season tickets, there would be another 62,000 people coming back behind us to pick them up. Do you agree with my assessment?
Not quite that many, no, but I think there'd be a lot. But I think the issue would be is there won't be 62,000 people, mostly because about how many thousand of that is corporate in the first place, and then next year it's likely to be. I don't think it'll be.
And corporate doesn't care.
Well, it's not that they just sold to businesses, aren't they? A lot of them are on 2, 3, 4 year contracts as well. They're not. They have to renew every year, so it's a complicated matter, but. I think they would get sufficiently enough people in the stadium that they wouldn't care, and they'll get enough football tourists and stuff like that. That's what they're banking on. They're bound to have done the maths.
Yeah, okay. HG, your response?
I fully expect to see adverts when people get injured and unlimited substitutions.
Defense!
And basically a situation where in the future you don't work for a club, but you work for the Super League, and the Super League will decide who plays where, because that's what they're going towards. Again, like it's bit by bit. The idea that the European Super League with 75% guaranteed members and 25% not is the end game is ridiculous. It's not the end game. They will just continue going until you have basically 20 teams in Europe that play each other, and everyone else will just deal with whatever they've got. And you'll have the extremely rich haves, and everybody else will just have to make do with whatever crumbs they can get. That's the situation. So I do expect it to happen, but that's just not what I want to see at all. And it's like I would honestly, I would rather Spurs be out of this and have no say than be the people that we are, being one of these teams that are making this change. It's disgusting.
And last but by absolutely no means least, sober Brendan. You're so much more fun when you're drunk. You'd have interrupted at least 3 times then.
I think that something will happen. I think it's going to be a couple of years still. I don't think that it's going to happen immediately. And the fans in that couple of years, I think the fans have a great role in convincing the clubs, look, this is not what we want. I do find it ironic or hypocritical of Sky Sports, Gary Neville, being the sort of moral bastion here behind the paywall at Sky to tell everyone that the game's gone. When everyone said the same thing in 1992 when the Sky and the Premier League was launched. So it's something is going to happen. I think they're serious. I don't think it was a power play. I think they are genuinely serious to do this. I just think there's a long way to go till it happens, and hopefully during that time UEFA can come back with some more goodies to satisfy the owners of the clubs that are pushing for it.
Even though HG, you would say they shouldn't be offering any goodies, right?
No, to me, enough's enough. Like if you keep on, like it's the same with my daughter. Every time I give her a sweet, she still wants another one. She's not going to turn around and be like, oh yeah, thanks, Dad, I've had 5. That's enough now. No, she's going to want a 6th and a 7th. It's no different.
So you lock her in a room, throw away the key.
No, you have some
bread and
discipline,
water.
and you say, no, you're not having any more. Enough is enough. I know better than you. This is better for you long term than like short term gain. Yeah, great, you get a bit more sugar, but long term, you do not want to be fat like your dad. So therefore, I discipline her and I say, no, that's the situation. It's about doing what's right, not what's easiest.
So to summarise, we've sorted out Tottenham's next manager. We've all had our say on the European Super League, and I've had a lot of whiskey. So look, thanks very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. HG, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Before we start,
or finish,
his name but his name is pronounced Julian and not Julian. So we can get there already. The whole Jose is going to start up again. It's Julian Nagelsmann.
But you're at the advantage here, not Brendan this time. I mean, he puts on that pretend accent every time, and it bugs me. Franco, thanks for joining. Halfway through as well. What a hero. Stepping into the breach.
No worries. It's been nice-ish.
That's as close as you get to a compliment from him. Brendan, thanks for joining us.
Anytime. It's been good fun, guys. Cheers.
And in the meantime, we've got a game in less than 48 hours. So come on, you Spurs.
Can't wait. Cheers for watching, Cheeseheads.
Cheers, guys. Up the Spurs.